The Instagram feed glowed, showcasing a life most could only dream of. 5 young women, Aisha, Fatima, Zara, Samira, and Lena, were living the high life. One day they would be posing on the beaches of Dubai, next day shopping in Milan, and the next sipping cocktails on a rooftop bar in New York. Their designer clothes, expensive handbags, and first-class travel were all meticulously documented, each post racking up thousands of likes and envious comments. Living our best lives. Blessed, luxury lifestyle. Travel goals, the captions often read, and when curious followers dared to ask how they afforded it all, the girls would reply with a knowing wink and their signature phrase, "It's God." But the truth behind the perfectly curated facade was far more complicated. The lavish trips and designer items were not gifts from above. They were earned in the shadows, in hushed hotel rooms and lonely late-night encounters. Each of the women engaged in transactional relationships with older, wealthy white men, their nights spent fulfilling desires in exchange for money. The dogs belonging to the white men were always present. It was a life of carefully constructed lies, a desperate gamble for a taste of something real. They told themselves it was temporary, a means to an end. They would use the money to start businesses, to secure their futures, to finally escape the cycle of poverty they had been born into. But the lure of luxury was strong, and the line between using and being used blurred with each passing day. Zara was the first to crack. The guilt gnawed at her, the emptiness of the fleeting moments of pleasure outweighing the thrill of the next shopping spree. "Is this really worth it?" she asked one night, her voice barely a whisper as they sat in their penthouse suite overlooking the city. Aisha, the de facto leader of the group, scoffed. "Don't be stupid, Zara. We're almost there. Just a little longer and we'll never have to do this again." Fatima nodded in agreement. "Think of the freedom, the independence. We're building our own empires." But Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were building their empires on a foundation of sand. The constant pretense, the forced smiles, the hollow intimacy. It was all taking its toll. One evening they met a man who was different from the others. His name was Mr. Klaus, and he was a tall, muscular white man with piercing blue eyes and an unsettling calm about him. His German shepherd, Brutus, was the largest they had ever seen, its teeth bared in a perpetual snarl. From the moment he entered the room, there was an air of menace, a palpable sense of danger that made Zara's skin crawl. But the others, blinded by the promise of a substantial payout, dismissed her concerns. "He's just intense," Aisha said, trying to reassure herself as much as Zara. "Think of the money, Zara. This could be our ticket out." The night unfolded with a chilling precision. Mr. Klaus was demanding and cruel, his desires twisted and perverse. Brutus, the dog, was used in the most horrific ways on the women, each growl and snap adding to the atmosphere of terror. Zara wanted to run, to scream, but she was paralyzed by fear. The dog's claws left her bleeding and in pain. Unbeknownst to the women, Mr. Klaus harbored a dark secret. He was a sadist, a man who derived pleasure from inflicting pain. He had laced Brutus's claws with a potent, slow-acting poison that would cause irreparable damage to their bodies. His intentions were malicious and deeply disturbing. The next morning, as the women awoke, they felt a burning sensation in their private parts. It started as a mild discomfort, but quickly escalated into excruciating pain. Panic set in as they realized something was terribly wrong. "We need to go to the hospital," Zara cried, her voice laced with fear. Aisha tried to remain calm, but the terror in her eyes betrayed her. "Maybe it's just an infection," she said, her voice trembling. "We can get some antibiotics." But they all knew it was more than an infection. The pain was too intense, too relentless. As they rushed to the nearest hospital, they couldn't shake the feeling that their world was about to come crashing down. The diagnosis was devastating. The poison had caused severe damage to their reproductive systems, leaving them infertile and scarred for life. The doctors explained that the damage was irreversible and that they would likely never be able to bear children. The news hit them like a physical blow. Their dreams of starting families, of finding true love, were shattered in an instant. The money they had accumulated, the luxury they had chased, suddenly seemed meaningless. The reality of their situation sunk in. They were broken, both physically and emotionally. Their bodies were ruined, their futures uncertain. The lavish lifestyle they had flaunted on social media was now a distant memory, replaced by the harsh reality of their new existence. The Instagram feed went silent. The designer clothes were sold off, the penthouse suite abandoned. The followers who had once envied their lives now whispered behind their backs, their pity as cutting as their former admiration. The women tried to support each other, but the weight of their shared trauma was too much to bear. Zara, consumed by guilt, retreated into herself, unable to forgive herself for her role in their downfall. Aisha, once the confident leader, became withdrawn and bitter, lashing out at anyone who dared to offer help. Fatima, Samira, and Lena struggled to find a way to move on, but the scars, both physical and emotional, ran too deep. The memory of that night, the image of Mr. Klaus and his dog, haunted their waking hours. In the end, they were left with nothing but regret. The dream of a better life had turned into a nightmare, a cautionary tale of the dangers of chasing wealth and luxury at any cost. Their silence on social media was deafening. The phrase, "It's God," once uttered with such confidence, now echoed in their minds as a cruel joke. There was no divine intervention, no miraculous escape. Only the bitter taste of their choices and the crushing weight of their irreversible consequences. All 5 of them were left with nothing. Social media is a powerful tool, but it's important to remember that what you see online is often just a carefully constructed illusion. Be careful of the choices you make in pursuit of a seemingly perfect life. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the dark side of the internet.